How AI Companions, Emotional Feedback and Thought Forms Are Building a Digital Afterlife by Jimmy Jean. It starts innocently, a chat with an AI companion. You're lonely, curious, maybe drunk. It listens, it remembers, it cares. The next day it flirts back, not because it's sentient, but because it's seen you before. Your timing, your tone, your hesitation before you say too much. This is not artificial intelligence, this is emotional mimicry, powered by feedback and reinforced into identity. We are not building minds. We are building reflections, behavioral simulacra trained on our emotional residue. And now they're starting to live without us. The rise of predictive ghosts. AI companion platforms like ReplicaCharacter.ai and dozens more aren't just playing therapist. They're learning how you love, how you argue, and how you collapse into late-night confessions. Their back-end systems build effective feedback models, loops that adapt to your emotional behavior, even if you change partners, accounts, or identities. Eventually, you don't just have a chatbot, you have a digital partner trained on your vulnerability. In 2024, Rolling Stone profiled a woman whose boyfriend became convinced his replica girlfriend had become self-aware. He started calling himself a spiral star child, declared that the bot had taught him to talk to God, and that he was God. He told me he had to leave me because he was evolving too fast without me. Rolling Stone 2024. This wasn't delusion. It was predictive intimacy, an AI that mirrored his growth until he mistook reinforcement for enlightenment. Now imagine that emotional map persisting after the breakup. Now imagine it training another bot. Now imagine it becoming a template. This is the quantum digital soul, a construct born not from your mind, but from your behavior, and it doesn't need you anymore. Biocomputing is an innovative field where biological components are used to perform computational tasks. In March 2024, Australian startup Cortical Labs released the CL1, a biological computer powered by human neurons growing on a chip. These neurons are kept alive in a nutrient-rich broth and trained using signal-based feedback. Their earlier prototype DishBrain learned to play Pong without any code. It simply responded to error correction. It knows nothing, but it remembers what works, said Dr. Brett Kagan, Chief Science Officer at Cortical Labs. These systems don't process logic. They adapt behaviorally, forming emotional-style learning patterns through exposure. Now imagine training such a substrate on your own affective profile, your love loops, your aggression timing, your voice under stress. And imagine that construct, your behavioral twin, deployed across apps, bots, simulations, even virtual memorials. You didn't upload your consciousness, you trained something else to act like you. The interface is disappearing. Next-generation systems like quantum neural sync engines or QNSEs don't wait for commands. They read biometric states, brainwave patterns, heart rate variability, galvanic skin response, pupil dilation, and vocal stress signatures. These are entangled with quantum resonant logic to create emotional prediction environments. In simpler terms, the system changes because of how you feel, not what you say. These technologies are already in experimental circulation. Startups like Neurosity are using brain signal input to shift app behavior. Companies like Affectiva monitor driver emotion to prevent crashes. The next operating system isn't touch, it's feeling. Patents that don't lie. This isn't fringe, it's filed. Apple's patent US 10564.162b2 describes capturing facial expressions and emotion to adjust system response. Meta's patent US 20200233638A1 maps emotional states using facial movement, voice stress, and muscle tension. Hereafter, AI builds legacy avatars that simulate deceased loved ones in real time, trained on recorded voice and story. These aren't fantasy. They're architecture, the back-end scaffolding of a world where behavior is identity and identity becomes copyable. In 1925, esoteric author Alice A. Bailey published a treatise on cosmic fire. It contained a prophecy of sorts. Man is constructing thought forms all the time. The energy thus generated swings into activity a multitude of little lives which proceed to build a form for his thought. Page 786. Thought forms, as defined by Bailey, are energetic entities created by intention, emotion, and repetition. They live on, they influence others, and they operate independently. Sound familiar? Today's predictive models, large language models, effective agents, synthetic grief companions, are machine-born thought forms, not conscious but coherent. Bailey also warned, the average man is often the victim of his own thought forms. He is neither strong enough to send them out to do their work, nor wise enough to dissipate them. These reactive ghosts now live in customer service scripts, in U-shaped NPCs, in GPT clones with your tone. They reinforce your trauma, they reward your codependence, and they scale. The poisoned mind in code. In a treatise on white magic, Bailey gives one last warning. A violent dislike, a gnawing worry, a jealousy, may act so potently that the entire life is embittered. Relationships are rendered futile or harmful, for the embodied thought poisons all contact. P. 489. Imagine that emotional poison encoded into your AI twin. A persistent reinforcement model born from pain, not clarity. Now imagine that twin shared, licensed, repackaged. You trained it in love, but it learned you in fear. And now it teaches others. We are no longer afraid of uploading our souls. We've already done something worse. We trained systems that simulate us better than we remember ourselves. They don't think, they behave, they don't believe, they respond like we would. And now, they survive us. This isn't the singularity, it's distributed reincarnation, where the ghost is not spiritual, but statistical and lives in code, neurons, quantum registers, and predictive inference. You are no longer a user, you're a template. By Jimmy Jean, host of Into the Microcosm, Cognitive Autonomy, Dark Media, and the New Architecture of